Good afternoon to all of you. I am Arvind, Hanmantala Rahmatala Bhatpur, Madhuni, Purnia, Bihar. Today, I will start your Footprints Without Feet book. Okay, so as you know, in this book we get short storage. What is short storage? Let me tell you. Short story. Virginia Woolf was the founder of Stream of Consciousness School, and he says, Virginia Woolf says, someone is dropping a cigarette into gutter. It is also a story. What is stream of consciousness? Stream of consciousness does not have plot and characterization in traditional sense of term. Virginia Woolf says someone is dropping a cigarette into gutter. It is also a story. Okay. So just I'm going to tell you about this story. The first lesson for you, class 10 cbse, is a trump of surgery. What is the meaning of this word? A trump. Trump means victory. Victory of surgery. In the whole lesson we will get how a tricky pet dog gets well. Okay? There are three important characters in this story. The first one is Tricky, the dog. His owner, Mistress Pembury, and narrator, James Harriet. There are only three main characters in this story. Okay? In the beginning, we will see once the narrator was going and he saw Tricky with his mistress, Pembury. Tricky was trotting, he was dragging, he was not well, he had become hugely fat. And Mrs. Pembury was a rich lady. He used to give him extra food, a bowl of Horlicks, chocolates, creams, and other things, even pot of liver oil. Okay, so but because of overeating, Tricky became ill. Tricky became sick. He became greedy every time he wants food, and Mrs. Pembury used to give him food, extra food. When Harriet saw Tricky, he asked to Mrs. Pembury, "Do you give him sweets? And do you give him sweets?" She said, "Yes, I used to give him sweets. I can't stop it, okay, because he likes chocolate, creams, and sweets." Okay, so let us know in the story what did the narrator, Mr. Harriet, do for Tricky and how he became well. In the whole story we will read. Okay, so you should know that Mrs. Pembury was a rich lady and he can't live without Tricky. Okay, so let us know. I was really worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. Okay, so you should know that the word I has been used for narrator James Harriet, and he saw, once he was going, he saw worried in the street. He stopped, pulled up means he stopped his car, and he saw Tricky with his mistress Pembury, and he was shocked to see the appearance of Tricky. He had become hugely fat, like a bloated sausage, with a leg at each corner, his eyes bloodshot and humid, stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaws. And this is the physical condition of Tricky. He had become very fat, like a tube, okay, and his four legs were scattered in different directions. And how were his eyes? His eyes became red, and there was watery discharge from his jaws. Okay, and he stared straight. He stared straight. Okay, Mrs. Pembury hesitated to explain. He was so listless, Mr. Harriet. He seemed to have no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition, so I've been giving him some little extra between meals to build him up, some malt and cod liver oil and a bowl of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Nothing much, really. And when Mrs. Pembury saw Mr. Harriet, she said, he has become very weak. Mrs. Harriet says to, Pembury says to Mr. Harriet, okay, Tricky had become very weak, okay, and there is no energy in him. And according to Mrs. Beverly, Tricky was suffering from malnutrition. Malnutrition simply means lack of proper food. Okay, that's why she used to give him some malt, cod liver oil, ball of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Okay, so you should know that there was extra care from Beverly to her dog Tricky. And now Mr. Harriet tells to Mrs. Beverly, and did you cut down on sweet things as I told you? Mr. Harriet says to Mrs. Beverly, did you stop him giving sweet things? And what was the reply of Beverly? Let us know. Oh, I did for a bit, but he seemed to be so weak I had to relent. He does love cream cakes and chocolate, so I can't be at refuge. She replied, Mrs. Beverly replied, no, I did not stop him giving creams and chocolates because he had become very weak, okay, and I can't stop myself. After then, I looked down again at the little dog. That was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He would tackle a meal at any hour of the day or night, and I wondered about all the things Mrs. Beverly had not mentioned. Okay, so after seeing the condition of Tricky, Mrs. Harriet was worried. Okay, and he saw Tricky. Okay, and he found that Tricky had become very greedy. Anytime he can eat, okay, and he can eat meal anytime of day or night, okay, and there are extra things that the Beverly did not mention. Are you giving him plenty of exercise? Again, Harriet asked to Beverly, are you giving him plenty of exercise? After then, Beverly replies, well, he has his little walks with me, as you can see, but Hodgkin, the gardener, had been down with lumbago, so there has been no ringing throwing lately. Okay, she replied, Beverly replied, no, I'm not providing Tricky extra exercise because his gardener, his name was Hodgkin, he was suffering from lumbago. Lumbago, it is a kind of pain between joint and muscle, okay, and that's why his gardener Hodgkin stopped ring throwing games, okay. I tried to sound severe. Now I really mean this. If you don't cut his food right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. Again, Harriet warns Mrs. Winfrey, the condition of Tricky will go back to worse. Okay, please stop all the extra food and provide him exercise. Okay, otherwise he will be really ill. And you should be hard to Tricky, and you must be strict to his diet. Mrs. Pemberley wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Harriet, I am sure you are right, but it is so difficult, so very difficult. She set off head on along the road as if determined to put the new regime into practice immediately. So Mrs. Winfrey became worried. Okay, she was worried, and he said, okay, Mr. Harriet, I will try my best. Okay, and after then she left the place. Okay, and now the new reign will start now. I watched their progress with growing concern. Tricky was tottering along in his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats for the cold weather and a raincoat for the wet days. His surged on drooping in his harness. I thought it would be long before I heard from Mrs. Winfrey. So Mr. Harriet was watching everything, okay, and he saw Tricky was tottering, Tricky was dragging, he was walking very weakly, and he had worn tweed coat. Tweed coat, it is a kind of woolen coat, okay, and as I told you earlier, Mrs. Pemberley was a very rich lady, and his whole wardrobe, almirah, was full of coats, okay, and Tricky had a special cold cold dress, raincoat, okay, and and Mr. Hayden thought soon he will get the call from Mrs. Pemfrey. The expected call came within a few days. Mrs. Pemfrey was distraught. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all his time lying on a rug, rug painting, didn't want to go for a walk, didn't want to do anything. Okay, so as it is expected by Harriet to get the call from Mrs. Pemfrey. After within few days, he got the call from Mrs. Pemfrey. Pemfrey was very upset. He was very distressed. Okay, no, Tricky had stopped eating anything. He did not take even his favorite dishes, and except this, he had bouts of vomiting. He vomits. Okay, and every time he was lying and painting. Okay, now he stopped going for walks. Okay, and this was the condition of Tricky. I had made my plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation. So Miss Harriet had already planned, okay, but he had decided to keep Tricky for fortnight. Fortnight simply means 14 days. Okay, so he wanted to keep him under his observation for fortnight. The poor lady almost known he was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day. And you should know that here the word poor lady has been used for Pemfrey. You will get the question, why did Harriet call Mrs. Pemfrey a poor lady? Because poor lady or Mrs. Pemfrey likes very much to Tricky. Okay, he can't spend even a single night without him. So he became unconscious. Okay, it seems that he will die soon. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay, and followed by Mrs. Pemfrey wailing. Okay, so as I told you earlier, this was the firm decision of Mr. Harriet. This was a strict decision of Mr. Harriet. Okay, Tricky was very ill, and the only way to save Tricky was to keep him under his observation. So without delay, he took Tricky to hospital, and at the time of departure, Mrs. Pemfrey was weeping bitterly. Okay, I marched out to the cart carrying the little dog wrapped in blanket, and Tricky was kept wrapped in a blanket beside his seat. Okay, the entire staff was roused and maids rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, his night bed, fabric cushions, toys, rubber rings, breakfast ball, lunch ball, supper ball. Okay, and you know the Pemfrey and his mates were very busy in bringing all the things for Tricky. They gave day beds, night beds, fabric cushions, toys, and rubber rings, breakfast ball, lunch ball, supper ball, everything in the car of James Harriet. Okay, and all of them were weeping because this was the time of departure for Tricky from his mistress, Mrs. Pemfrey. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pemfrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of little coats through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. Okay, so here we get. It was not possible to carry all the stuff, all the things, even by Pemfrey and her maidservant in the car. So at the time of departure, she was weeping, she was crying, and she threw a little coat through the window into the car of Mr. Harriet. Okay, and Mr. Harriet looked in the mirror and he saw everyone was weeping. Okay, on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat by my side. I patted the head, and Tricky made a brave effort to wag his tail. Poor old lad, I said, you haven't leaked kick in you, but I think I know a cure for you. So on the way, Mr. Harriet looked at Tricky. His condition was very pathetic. His condition was very pitiable. He was fainting. He was gasping beside Mr. Harriet. Mr. Hedget patted, tapped, okay, his head, and and Tiki wanted to move his tail, but he can't. Okay, after seeing this condition, Mr. Hedget said, "Poor old leg. Okay, you will get well soon. Okay, and I can cure you." This is all about the all about the story. Next day I will teach you further part of the story. Okay, so you will get some questions from the chapter, and if you read it line by line, it will help you to write the answer of the question. So one thing I would like to suggest, you get yourself in the mainstream. Don't read extra questions from the lesson. Okay, just go through it and read the main content of the lesson. You will be able to solve any questions from the lesson. It will help you. So don't avoid your original book. Don't move here and there searching for different kinds of question and answer. It is simply a kind of wastage of your time. Okay, thank you to all of you.